Let's go!
I am 31 years old.
We all have heroes. For the Waterboy, it was Captain Insano. And for young Tyler Buxton, it was boxing champion Sean O'Sullivan. There he was, skipping and hitting pads in his hometown of Belleville, Ontario. An alluring sight that roped in 6-year-old Tyler into the world of boxing. He was hooked. Later, Tyler had his own fight in his early days as a boxing promoter. It seemed like a guaranteed win, but it didn't go exactly as planned. Returning to the job he had just quit, now with $60,000 in debt, it seemed like a TKO. The next round, he opened United Promotions. Now Tyler is looking for a world champion and knocking down cultural barriers. What began with a Contender fight in Jamaica, Tyler now travels there 12 to 14 times a year, promoting fights that draw over 1 million viewers in Jamaica alone. At this pace, his dream to bring a Canadian world champion may be just around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Buxton.
Straight out of the T-Dot.
That's what it is.
Live from the 6 boroughs.
Don't go nowhere.
For sure. Welcome to Standing in the 6 with your hosts Michael and Constantine.
And we're 5, 4, 3, 2.
Shy Ronnie.
Shy Ronnie.
You're a Shy Ronnie lover, aren't you?
I remember just dying in that video. Dying.
I think you're the person who actually showed it to me.
Yes, I remember that. You came to my place and I showed you the video. I go, you got to
did.
watch this Shy Ronnie video.
Because I think you did like an organic Shy Ronnie reference.
Exactly.
And I was like, because what does that mean if you haven't seen it?
No, nobody would know. Nobody would know.
Cue Shy Ronnie video.
Cue Shy Ronnie video, exactly.
Okay.
If you get clearance. But good morning, Mike. Good morning. Today we're Monday, not Tuesday, but Monday, the beginning of the week.
Can we check his levels? It seems really loud.
Okay, Brian, do me a favor. When you look at the soundboard which says stereo, just turn the stereo down. Go down a little bit on stereo. And tell me if that's better for you, Mike.
We're keeping this because your gusto on his gusto on the good morning.
Is this
that was
better?
Good. That was like a.
Is that better right now? Okay, that should be better.
That's fantastic.
Okay, Brian, that's good. Wow, Brian, you do have a tremendous purpose. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Well, good morning, part 2.
Daggers.
Stereo in effect.
All right.
We have the wonderful Mike Reventar, which again is joining us
That's
back
so
today.
nice of you to say.
Thank you. And we have the beautiful Christina, who is actually taking pictures of us right now.
Hey.
Or
it could be a selfie because that hair looks fly.
Yes.
You just never know.
It does.
Right?
It does.
Like, I mean, how would you know if someone could literally just be going off on their selfie while they think they're taking
that's
a
true.
picture?
That's
no.
true.
Okay, no, turn a little bit. Okay.
There you go. I'll tell you right now, Mike, this weekend, and I know it was already asked, but I had to save it. This was a weekend of emotional roller coasters. This was the championship playoffs for my daughter's basketball team. And I'll just cut right to the end.
Is there ever a championship that's not playoffs? No, I'm just wondering.
I don't know.
Because you said championship playoffs. So I guess
Yeah.
championship.
Yeah, being the playoffs.
Okay,
yeah.
I just was wondering if there was a distinction.
Yeah, but we finished silver.
Sorry.
Okay, we didn't do gold. We lost. And I was listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago. It was called "Refs You Suck," and how the chant goes up. Yeah, and I'll tell you this right now.
The title of the podcast
is called "Refs You Suck,"
Oh
right?
my
Because it's a
goodness.
chant that actually is thrown out every single time. I always under the belief that you have to kind of gain your momentum in points, so you won't have to leave it up to the ref to make bad calls. But this ref, man, was so villainous. Okay, the calls that he made. I have a clip. I want to show you of when he made this call. It was a defining moment of the game. Okay. And I'll just kind of play it out. So what happens
this is actually cool. I feel like we're actually gonna
do a play-by-play,
and we're gonna review referees.
We're gonna review. I want you to review this now. What happens is that we're right now up by 1. It's the third quarter. 30 seconds left in the game, and it just so happened that he approaches my daughter and the other player and fouls her, and it was a clear foul. However, he called.
And you're being objective about this.
And I'm being objective. Okay. And he calls a travel. And he calls a travel on this, not a foul. And I want you right now to look at this, and you tell me if you think this is a foul or a travel.
Okay.
Let's go one more time. What do you think that is, Mike, in your eyes?
Oh my goodness. He called it travel?
He called it travel on that.
And your daughter's obviously the one in the dark uniform?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, sorry. I mean, the player.
Yes.
That
yes.
under review, because
Yes.
we're putting on our professional hats here.
Yes.
Okay.
And
that is 100% a foul.
100%.
Yeah, because she travels after the whistle.
Right.
Because she does travel.
That's right.
She doesn't dribble.
Yes.
Okay. But she doesn't dribble because she hears a whistle.
That's right.
So the play means it's dead.
Yes.
Okay.
So he made that call, and literally there was probably about 7 more bad calls in that.
Seeing that we're in security, it's good to paint a picture.
Yes.
Our incident reports. Describe the referee. If we can get a physical description, give us an idea.
This guy, from a physical description.
Look, we're writing a report right now.
Yeah, he did not fit the criteria. You know, remember Paul Potts? Paul Potts, the guy that on American Idol? Literally, this guy looked like Paul Potts to me.
Cue Paul Potts right now.
Honestly, he reminded me of that. But Paul Potts with like a chip on his shoulder. Okay?
Whoa!
Yeah, because Paul Potts, he was actually a very humble guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He's a jolly old fellow.
Yeah,
he's a hobbit.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean. I don't mean like because he looks like what. Just he's got that that gentle spirit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Listen.
So he's that with a chip.
With a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, that's unpredictable.
And Mike, there's more footage I can show you, but I don't want to take away from this. There was a lot of questionable calls that he made.
Now let me ask.
Yeah.
Do you believe refs are people?
I used to. Now Elon Musk must have got involved here right now. Because absolutely.
So you're saying artificial Elon Musk. So Elon Musk meaning artificial intelligence, meaning that he's artificial intelligence somehow messed up this game for your daughter, thus affecting your life.
Yes, I think so.
So the world does not revolve around you.
No, exactly. Yeah. No. Absolutely, there are people and they can make bad calls. However, this is an interesting fact here. Okay, before the game even started, the coach from the other team, Stony Creek, approached our coach. And he says to him,
"Where's Stony Creek?"
Stony Creek is very close to Niagara Falls area.
Okay.
This is what he said. Okay. I just want to reference color now. The Stony Creek coach is a white guy. He approaches our coach, who's a black guy. One of them. He says, "I want to let you guys know something. That this specific ref," and he pointed to Paul Potts, he said, "is known to make questionable calls to colored teams." Okay. And I thought it was very interesting to hear that.
Of the opposing team prior to a championship.
Prior to it,
game.
said that to our coach. Okay, now they've always beaten us as team, and at the end of the day, we've had a very hard time beating them. But we were up at one point by 16 points, so we were doing well. It's just that the calls started to get very questionable, and to prove that is one thing, but at the end of the day, if we're looking at the footage of this video and there's many like them, it's almost as if he was trying to sabotage the game.
Yeah, to swing it in a way.
But I could be a crazy rep parent. What are you talking about? What are you talking? I could be that crazy parent. At the end of the day, it was.
She's not walking here. She's not walking.
Exactly. So I don't know if I can ever listen to Paul Potts again because of this guy.
Oh my goodness, skewed forever. Now, how do you feel? This is the question. Things happen out of our control.
Right.
All we know is we choose our day. We choose our attitude.
We actually do.
How is your heart?
I'll tell you this. I woke up this morning, and I felt 1,000 times better than yesterday. Okay? So yesterday was not a good time to ask me that question. Okay?
So that's good. It just depends how bad you were thinking yesterday.
Oh,
so
yes.
Are you in a good spot today?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you know what? New day, new challenge, new obstacles to hurdle, I guess. Overcome, yes. But
do you think that you could get to a point where you can embrace this ref next time you see him? Because you're probably going to see him again.
If I ever did see him again, I wouldn't say nothing.
What's your strategy? Silence.
Literally, I wouldn't say nothing. Because you know what, Mike? What I've learned is this. Sometimes you just can't change somebody. You just can't. They'll never see it any other way. Ever. And to argue with them, I remember I'm coming off from bad, perspective to talk to him because he's talking to people like that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the video, look at that picture of that guy right now yelling. Like, this is every single parent's reaction when that happened.
Yeah.
Right?
How many seconds were left in the game at the time?
Well, it was at the end of the third. And
okay.
if what happened was if she was actually fouled, we would have gone to the lineup, got those 2 shots, would have made a big, massive difference in the game. Those other bad questions.
How much did the winners win by?
5. By 5.
So
Yeah.
So technically,
But there was actually more calls. And I have more footage to show you, but I'm not going to bore the listeners today.
yeah, it doesn't all hinge on just this one call,
No,
which
there's-
just happens to be your daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about
There's several of them. There's several. But anyways, the lesson today is this: don't give the other team enough of a catch up. Right? We have to rely on the ref. Give it a nice spread. Look at the Raptors, man. The Raptors on the weekend, they killed Philadelphia.
Yes.
Okay, and so much so that they put in the bench in the last 3 minutes, and the bench couldn't do anything at all. I mean, they could have scored left and right. The bottom line is they had a nice spread to be able to take away some of that.
Yeah, they put their foot on the throat of the 76ers.
Exactly. Which is going to be very interesting, man, because it still hurts when
Yeah.
Vince Carter lost that for us.
Now, when Vince Carter lost that, wow, that's loaded. Vince, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I mean,
Yes.
we play chess on Tuesday mornings. It's not cool, man.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's not just defined as a basketball player.
No, he's not.
He wanted to go to his graduation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And you know what? He still is one of the best Toronto Raptors that ever lived.
Absolutely. Deep down, I hope the Raptors make a play to get him.
Yeah.
It would be so amazing if he comes back for. I think he did say that he's going to come for one more year. Right?
Yeah. There's talk of that. And
They need-
he's also one of the oldest NBA players right now
He's
currently
the
playing.
only player in the NBA who is from the 90s.
Wow.
Who got drafted in the 90s.
That's messed up.
Like literally, this is a true story about him too, a little Vince segue. He said his goal early in his career was longevity. So this whole thing of like he should be practicing more and do these and he should make these sacrifices. He always came back and he said, no, I appreciate that, but my goal isn't to beat up my body. My goal is longevity. I want to be in this game for long. And
So
he
is a chess player.
he said this, yeah. He said
Yeah.
this when he was like the young 20s.
Yeah.
You know,
That's strategy, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool. I mean, because some guys, what's the average NBA career? I think is less than 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
something
it's
like
3 to 5 years is the window, but average is 3.
that, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Now, perfect. Okay, so let's do some emergency for your heart.
Okay.
What can you do? And I actually challenge you.
Yeah.
What can you do with this ref? Imagine you see this referee.
Right.
And don't think basketball. Think life.
Right.
What could you stand up for that has nothing to do with your team, your daughter, in terms of just him, the way he views a certain group of people that probably aren't from his neighborhood?
Right.
Okay.
To me, literally, Mike, it's like talking to an alcoholic and telling him that you have a problem and he doesn't acknowledge it. To me, I don't think there's anything that could be done.
I guess because you're addressing the problem.
Right.
So what's a greater thing?
Hug
What's-
him. Give him a hug. Thank you for being you, Paul. Thank you for being
Good.
you.
I could see this hug. It starts off like gentle, and then slowly the fingers dig in.
There you go.
Right?
There
and
you
then
go.
he starts turning really
Yeah.
red.
I don't think nothing can be done. I think you just have to accept it. Literally, you have to accept it. I mean, he hasn't done anything blatant. I mean, in the sense of like shown
Well,
levels.
look, I'll throw 2 scriptures at you since it's Scripture Monday. Okay.
Scripture's Monday. Wow. There you go, man.
Love conquers all.
Yes.
Bank that one.
Nice.
Also, your gift makes room for you.
Mm.
Okay, look, we all know. Even if we understand there's strategy behind it, but when someone gives you something, you're like, it kind of opens up the door for you in some way to be more receptive to them.
Right.
Perfect example. All of us do not like getting real estate paraphernalia.
Right. Like
Yeah,
those
like
wonderful pens and
Pens,
yeah.
calendars, notepads,
Fridge
coasters, magnets.
Yeah.
But even still, acknowledge, be honest, in the back of your mind, you still kind of, I guess, put stuff, you appreciate it still.
Right.
Or you're like, you know what? I know 4 agents. He's the one guy who did actually send us his calendar.
Okay.
Before you throw it out.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
Like it still makes a difference.
Yeah.
So your gift makes room for you.
Okay.
Okay. Think about clients that have been generous back to you
Mhm.
or have tried to win back your business in some way.
Right.
You remember the ones that take care of you and the ones
Absolutely.
that just maybe take you for granted.
Of course.
So maybe Paul Potts has been taken for granted.
Maybe he has.
Maybe he's never been shown love by these outside teams of visible minorities.
Right.
And I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like you can do something really where you bring him a jerk chicken meal.
Yeah. I think we're
What do
done
you
now.
think?
I think we're done now.
What
This
do you
segment.
think? No, I'm being serious. No, just listen. You can have your way still.
Yeah.
You give it to him. He says thank you, and you just put a little extra hot sauce on there.
Right.
Okay?
Right. No, for sure. For sure.
So he suffers silently.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
No, but for real. No, I'm being honest. Like, explore it with the team.
Yes.
There might be an opportunity there to do something, to break ground
Yeah.
for all of to change the game.
Okay.
Like for real.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, genuinely mean it.
No, for sure.
I'm always quite sarcastic.
No, 100%.
But literally think of a batch of cookies or something. Like even something that just said, hey, you know what, that was a tough game.
Right.
We know that you have a tough job. Appreciate what you do. As a team, we wanted to just kind of give you this.
That, I mean, if we're going to go from scriptures, that literally is turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
Literally turn the other cheek.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Turn the other cheek and give me a technical. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Well, anyways, that was the fun. And look, you have some good advice there, and I think it's also good to look at things like that.
Yeah, I think and it's good to talk to your daughter about that.
For sure.
Because I mean, look, I'm a player. I hooped.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than thinking about the last game, the last play.
Right.
It gives you nothing.
Right.
If in that moment you're thinking about what just happened, it's true to life. It gives you nothing.
Yeah.
I've been on teams where literally plays minutes earlier, guys were still literally hanging their heads, and we still had minutes left, but the outcome wasn't even determined, and they're still just, oh my goodness, man, the guy dunked on me, or like I missed my 3-pointer. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
We know. Do people do that in everyday life? Do adults do that?
All the time.
They hang up.
Yeah.
Or they mentally, like, I don't know, they build an altar to a failure versus move forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, good or bad. Exactly what you said. Look, this past weekend when Kawhi Leonard killed the Philly Sixers,
murdered.
He actually asked him in the post interview, tell us about it, and he actually said this. He says, you know what? Whatever's happened today is now erased. Tomorrow's a new day.
Are you kidding me?
He actually said that, right? And
like a machine.
Like
man.
a machine. It's
he
erased
is
now.
A machine.
Yeah, you can't dwell on that. Good or bad, you can't dwell on it.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? So just like this now, today is a new day.
You can't bank on the memory.
No, absolutely.
Poke high.
Exactly.
3 touchdowns in high school.
Absolutely.
Ted Bundy.
Absolutely.
Right?
So maybe we'll make those chocolate chip cookies for Paul. I will definitely do that.
Yeah. Have you ever made chocolate chip cookies?
I have, but they're store bought, so I've never actually battered the recipe.
What do you mean, Pillsbury?
Yeah. Well, look, man. That was the journey, and you actually are hitting me right now.
Yeah.
Hey. That was the journey. Today we got an incredible guest that we're going to be popping in right now. Tyler Buxton from United Promotions.
Popping in like those cookies.
Yeah, for sure. And look, Tyler's a pretty cool guy, man. And
so Tyler's a guy you know him well.
I know him well. I did a little bit of boxing back in the day, which I brought up earlier.
Oh yeah.
We're going to explore that with Tyler. See if he remembers that.
Yeah.
And see if I could have been that next prodigy of Ontario.
Were you long-haired Constantine at that time?
No, I wasn't. Okay. I did have hair at that time.
Okay.
I did. I mean, I still have hair, but it wasn't as, beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, let's bring him in.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's do it.
Tyler Buxton, everybody.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome on this wonderful day. This wonderful, wonderful day. We got a very, very good friend and also someone that brings a lot of cool exposure to the boxing scene in Ontario, and that's Tyler Buxton from United Promotions.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man, 100%. And it was always cool. Like, I know, Tyler, it's funny, man. I was looking at Facebook the other day, and I don't pay attention to it too much, other than the fact that, wow, I mean, I forgot that person's on my friend list, or this is when we're posting things and people are reacting or commenting and stuff. You never really realize you're,
connected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you always got to be careful not to piss people off, right? And say something that, might offend someone.
It's a small world, man.
Really is.
It's a really small world.
Really is,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
But we got some history, Tyler, because, I brought this up back in the day, which you also know Lee Baxter.
Yeah.
And he referenced you, but back in the day, it was even a surprise to Mike, with Liverpool boxing, man. And
way back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like 06, maybe 07.
That's right. Is Preston still around?
No, he passed away too.
He did, eh?
Yeah.
Jeez,
yeah,
man.
You can't rip darts like that nonstop.
Yeah,
not get cancer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
He's like the old school boxing guy. Like he's out ripping darts, and then guys are in training, come back in, hold pads, go back out, have another cigarette.
One of those guys.
Guys.
And he literally
he passed away too.
Yeah.
Oh my
now,
goodness.
Look, when I was training, how old was he? Like in the 60s?
In the 60s, yeah.
Yeah, the best way to describe him was like Mickey from Rocky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was that kind of guy. You know what I mean? Had that.
So did he have cancer yet when you were there? Like when he got like the throat thing done and stuff?
He had the throat thing on, yeah. But that was an amazing experience, Tyler, because obviously, at that time you were one of the trainers there.
Yeah.
It was my first time really getting into boxing, you know what I mean, and into the whole scene. And the funny thing is...
So you were, what, mid-20s?
I would say about 25,
in
26.
his prime.
Yeah, in my prime.
Much, yeah.
Exactly. But when I got into it, I wanted
the glorious Greek.
That's right, the glorious Greek, the real Spartan. Yeah, I wanted to get into the element of obviously doing something for the physical element, but also there is this notion about maybe I can do something with it. You know what I mean? And I remember somebody telling me there, I can't remember what his name is. He goes, "Doesn't matter about your size and stuff. I mean, because I was working out as well. They were saying that it can slow you down in a fight if you have too much muscle on."
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So how was your experience? What would you say?
It was really amazing. I mean, the first couple of weeks I got just completely smashed. I mean, keeping up with it. However, as you get into your heart starts picking up, you start getting that cardio built in. And it's a really, really, really good workout, man. I mean, I highly recommend it for anyone in any sport.
Look, I want to ask you, obviously boxing is a huge part of your life. Was it always? Was it like from young? Was it something that you found you? Like,
going back, it was like I was probably like 6 years old, and Sean O'Sullivan, who was Olympian for Canada.
Yes.
He came to Belleville. I was actually born in Belleville originally. He came to Belleville for a fight, and he was there all week long doing a training session. And my dad would take my brothers and I got 4 brothers, so he'd take all 5 of us down there every day at lunchtime and watch them work out. And that's where I kind of got the bug that I really wanted to get into it. And I didn't really take it serious until high school.
Okay, amazing. But isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
There's always like there's a moment where you pay attention or something just is pronounced. Like you don't choose it.
No.
We've had so many guests, they say that. They just remember 6 seems to be the age. At 6 years old, I saw this guy playing the piano, or it's really funny. Okay.
It's interesting, yeah.
So you got a glimpse of someone close proximity. You got to watch him. Is there anything tangibly that you remember?
Yeah, I just remember him like skipping and hitting the pads and stuff, and you're watching it, and you're like, wow, that's amazing.
You can hear the power right there, right?
Yeah, and he was very personable and signed autographs and got photos with us and stuff, and that just stuck in my mind. And then that year, my older brother got a speed bag for his birthday, and then I was like, oh man, I want a speed bag, and then I want, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then we were getting to be too much, too many fights, and mom and dad like, no.
Yeah.
No more of this boxing thing, you know what I mean?
I was just about to, that's what happens.
Yeah.
They enabled you. It's your parents' fault.
It's
100%. Like, yeah, I have 2 brothers, so we literally tore our house upside down. Like literally, we did everything that you shouldn't do in the house. Really? 4 brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, I can imagine.
5 of us all together.
5 boys.
Yeah, 5 boys within 8 years.
When that happened, you catch a glimpse of this. Did you guys start boxing? Like each other?
Yeah, yeah. Until they were like, no, take the speed bag down, take all the boxing gloves away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't actually get into it. I'm the only one that actually went back to it afterwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
That was many years later, and then I got into some coaching and stuff, and then got into the promoting. I did my first show in 2008.
So how did you jump from there, right, to think I want to get into promotions?
There was a couple of guys that were doing shows somewhat regularly at the Hershey Center. They were doing 1 or 2 shows a year, 3 shows a year, nothing really consistent. And I literally just kept calling them. I got the one guy's number through like a contact of another contact, and I just kept blowing up his phone. I'm like, yo, I want to be a boxing promoter.
Remember that once you have his number, you have it until he changes his number.
100%.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Most people don't change their phone number because of one guy. Yeah. Okay, so good.
So I just kept blasting up his phone. I'm like, yo, I want to be a promoter. And at that time, I was only maybe like 22, 23
And
years
you
old.
had a job in the carpentry?
Yeah, I was in the Carpenters Union, yeah.
Okay.
So 22, so you weren't saying fam. You were like, hey, Brethren.
Yeah. Okay. So you're already making an income.
Yeah.
You're part of the union.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then somewhere in that line, you're saying, you know what? I want to do something else.
Yeah.
Did you?
I wanted to be a promoter before I left Belleville and moved to Toronto.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to school with a bunch of guys. Like in Belleville, I think we had like 5 boxing clubs at one time for a population of like 50.
That's amazing.
60,000 people.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So a lot of guys that I boxed with were provincial champions, national champions and stuff, and then there was nowhere to turn pro. So I'm like, I'm gonna.
So at that level, it was a little hotbed. I mean, it was actually. Yeah. Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Was anybody else doing it? Tyler, that time? Like, I mean, in the sense
no, just the guys like at the Hershey Center. There was regular shows somewhat, but they weren't like building guys up. They were just kind of doing shows. There wasn't enough pro boxing guys around. Guys weren't turning pro because there wasn't really a platform for them to fight regularly on.
Right.
Casino Rama had just kind of started, so Molitor was fighting at Casino Rama, but they weren't building like prospects. They weren't building anyone else up. It was just like the Molitor show and then just some guys on the undercard, right?
Okay.
So it was all built around Molitor, and they weren't building like young kids behind them. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So what was it about promoting that kind of caught your eye? Why did you think that would be a piece?
I literally just said it like when I was talking to the guys. I'm like, you won the nationals last year. You're gonna go pro, and they're like, no, where are we gonna go pro? I'm like,
Dead end.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a promoter.
Really? Yeah, exactly.
And then next thing you know, I'm like, you know what? I could do this.
Out of a need.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The reason why I ask, because there's like certain businesses, there is a blueprint. I mean, if we wanted to start a coffee shop, we got a general idea.
Yeah.
Source coffee, get some nice cushy seating, do a little mix of like wood and wires, and boxing promoting is like where you start.
It's there is no blueprint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a weird business. It's a weird game, you know, for some people.
Yeah.
So how do you survive? What did you do or not do in order?
The one thing that I did is I've always just stuck to my word. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
so like, if I'm doing a show and I announce a show, I'm not canceling it.
So that must be a problem in general with people like
with humans.
Yeah, with humans. Yeah. But also for the business, because you can't build something if you're canceling shows.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can't announce something and then all of a sudden they cancel it, and that's the conflict that we run into now. Because people don't know the difference between an amateur show at the Lions Club or a pro show, right? So like, oh yeah, I had tickets to a show and then it got canceled. So then now I'm trying to get them to pre-buy. They're like, yeah, it's probably gonna get canceled, right? So my thing was always from 2008. I announced my first show at 23 years old, and I did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, because that's a long term. You got to swallow if you're gonna make or build something.
Take your shots.
You got to take your shots, right? I knew a restaurant that actually they would close. They would literally get an idea, and they're around 6 and 7 p.m. on their reservations, and they would just close up, and they didn't last a year because they wanted it. They're like, well, why would we stay open and pay this bartender and pay? Like, it was so short sighted, dollars and cents. So it's dead.
Yeah.
Okay. You know.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this. One of the things that a lot of times we're talking about is to be an inspiration for people, okay, and to see something and hear something. Now, there's a lot of risk in anything that you do, and it just so happened that your first show was a big risk, and that, from what I understand, didn't have the outcome that you wanted.
No, I took a beating. I literally
Go into that a bit. Go into that a bit.
Yeah, they say no, don't talk about your losses, but yeah,
I think it's important.
I literally, I talk about it. I don't care.
Yeah. Sean Pearson told us there's only winning and learning.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So I actually had a good union job and I quit it. I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to go be a boxing promoter.
Right.
So I literally took everything I had and I did a show in Belleville in 2008.
What did mom and dad think about that?
They were like, whatever. You know what I mean? They're very supportive.
That's
like,
cool.
whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be, go do it.
Yeah.
You know? But
and by everything you had what did it cost you to put this show on? I don't mean just money. Like, I mean,
when it was all said and done, I was 23 years old and I was about 60 grand in the hole.
wow.
Yeah, had to sell my trucks, my cars. I sold everything
Yeah.
because I wasn't married,
Yes.
no wife, no kids, no mortgage, and I had a great union job. Like, I was making bank, right?
Right.
So I literally had to get a credit card, maxed it out. I literally had to borrow my brother's 4-door Sunfire to drive to work on like the following Monday. I took a week off just to kind of lick my wounds, and then I called my old boss and said I need my job back.
Right.
Oh,
And I'll tell you this. I mean, obviously, we know that it continued to flourish, but a lot of times, this is where most people will give up.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll be like, "That's it.
Yes.
I got the hit. I'm in debt right now.
Yeah.
There's no way out. I'm actually too scared to try something else again because it could have that same outcome." So, what got you back to say, you know what, I got to do this again? I mean, that's a big thing to get 60 grand in debt.
Now let me ask.
Yeah.
You said that you actually asked your boss to come back to work.
Yeah.
You actually what was that like?
It was it's a shot to your pride for sure, right?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
you left here like a year ago. You were gonna be the Don King. What happened?
Yeah. Right.
So I just sucked it up, went back, and said, yeah, well, at least I tried. You know what I mean? I did it, and I'm not done. So from there, that's when I started United Boxing Promotions with the guy that I originally was kind of doing my apprenticeship with Don McDonald, and we said, well, why don't we create United? Why don't we bring a bunch of guys in and work together so we split the costs up and transfer the burden over to 7 guys instead of 1 guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that was so we started that in 2009, did our first series in 2010. And
Okay.
here we are now.
Amazing. Amazing.
Wow, man. What has been the biggest challenge for you? I mean, one of the boxers that I know of, because obviously living in Ajax, Brandon Cook. What are the challenges for you to be able to acquire talent? I mean,
When I first started, it was pretty easy because we were the only show in town, right? There was nobody else. Like, I did my first show, I was bringing guys in from the U.S. to fight guys from, like, Niagara Falls, you know,
Right.
when we were fighting, doing a show in Belleville. Like, neither one of them are selling tickets. No one's there to see them, but I had to fill a show, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I could do a show in Durham with 8 guys, 10 guys just from Durham.
Right.
You know, like, the landscape's changed so much from when I first started.
Yeah.
There's so many guys that are into boxing, that are fighting, that are pros now. I think the biggest issue that we have now, still to this day, is just the media coverage, which has you know, been echoed by Lee also, right?
Right.
Lee said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
They just until, you know, I couldn't get any coverage for Brandon Cook. All of a sudden, Brandon Cook's fighting for a world title, and now all of a sudden they're reaching out to us. It's like, this guy's been in North America. He's been ranked in the top 15 for like the last 3 years.
That's
He's
messed
been
up.
fighting right here at the Hershey Center,
Right.
at the CAA Center in Brampton.
Right.
You guys, you know, don't cover it. Now all of a sudden he's fighting for a world title. Now you want to cover it?
What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think it will take in order for the media? Because the media follows. I mean, they don't dictate anything.
Yeah,
they follow.
They got to. It's the same as like when Mulder won the world title. Up until no one even knew he was fighting in England for the world title. Once he won it, now all of a sudden everyone jumped on, right?
Yes.
So that's just the landscape of Toronto. They want winners. You know what I
There
mean?
needs to, I guess, like a breakthrough moment.
Yeah, you need
something.
to be a world champion.
There's Damian Lillard, who's like an amazing all-star in the NBA. He ends Oklahoma with a winning 3, and then now everyone now is talking about Damian Lillard.
Right.
But he's been an all-star for years.
Yeah.
It's just funny, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the eyes. He didn't get the eyes yet.
Yeah.
So let me ask, in that, is there anything that you guys think that you can do to kind of conjure up media? I mean, obviously you try, but has social media changed the landscape
Social
in any
media
way?
changed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like we don't do a lot of advertising on like the regular paper or TV because, you know what I mean, everyone's watching their phone. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where we spend most of our advertising budget, pushing social media. That's the future. That's where everyone, you know, now with the zone and everything else, everyone's watching everything on their phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Now your fan base that kind of come out to the fights. Do they pick up the frequency on social media? They get an idea this fight's happening in
Yeah,
their
we
area?
do. Yeah, that's where they allow them to get. We have you know, a pretty solid fan base that we've built over time now. You know, we have 88 corporate tables on the floor.
Amazing.
And that's, you know, and then I think that 20 private boxes, and you know, it's sold out. The fight's not until 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So that kind of issue is not the issue. It's just the regular Joe $20 seat, right? So it's kind of a the challenge right now is do you go with the streaming or do you just sell the ticket, right? And that's the issue that I'm having right now on where to commit to, because if I can stay at home and watch it on my phone, am I going to pay that $20, $30, $40
Yeah, what's the
and
incentive?
and go there, right?
Yeah.
So if they're not there drinking the beers, and all of a sudden now the sponsors aren't you know, putting money up because no one's there drinking,
No one's buying any
their
merch
product
or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to get it out there, right? So you want to do the stream because that's kind of the future. But it's kind of you know, pay-per-view was good for years. It made a lot of guys a lot of money. But I think, in looking at it now, I think that it kind of killed the sport too, because it's not on TSN. You know what I mean? Because you don't get to watch the
At
guys
all.
coming up, or ESPN.
It's
Like,
interesting, right? Yeah. It's literally almost hoarded in a corner, and only the diehards find it.
Yeah, unless you're paying the $100 on Saturday night, you're not going to
see it.
Yeah.
You know who's coming up. So I think it kind of hurt the sport long term, but at the same time, you know, you go to Europe and England and stuff. There's 100,000 people there watching.
You know,
So
I'm not an expert on this. I'm regurgitating what I heard before, that when music videos came out, it was thought that concerts would die. Okay, because why would someone spend hundreds of dollars and go out and all the, I guess, the problems of parking and getting into the arena, because there's Michael Jackson dancing right there. So, and then who was kind of the king of the music video. I still remember like gathering in living rooms getting ready for his next video coming out. But the exact opposite happened. At first, it was almost like, I guess it was convenient. The general audience was lazy. I got a bit of them. But then it actually increased their appetite. It's like the more that they saw them, the more that they were inclined to actually pay even bigger money, because it was a rarity. It's like, oh man, I could actually get to see them in person, you know. So hopefully, I bring that up. Hopefully that you're maybe just in the early stages of that.
yeah,
You know, that people get it. I mean, for me, I look at it for myself. If I were to watch a couple of boxing matches on my phone that I know were kind of local and in the scene, there's a really good chance that by the third, fourth, within the 10th one, I'm gonna go.
gonna go see it.
Like 100%, I'm gonna go. If I like what I saw and the whole vibe, it's just literally, it's like the taste test before committing to dinner. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
What are some of the I mean, where do you do your training right now? Is it Ajax? I mean, the guys when the training's happening.
I got guys everywhere.
Really, eh?
Yeah. So Josh O'Reilly's in Hamilton.
Okay.
Brandon Cook's in Ajax.
Okay.
New kid from Barrie.
So you're all over the place.
Everywhere. Yeah.
What are some of the skill sets or qualities in an individual that you're looking for to be like, I might want to sign this guy?
That's one thing that it worked out well with Brandon. That I was able to take a guy with only 30 amateur fights and he fought for a world title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not too many guys can say that.
Right.
That they actually fought for a world title when they're all said and done. My biggest thing is if I'm going to spend that much time with somebody and invest that much money into them, I need to personally like them. Like I need to be able to hang out with them. I need to be able to talk to them. They need to be a likable person.
Right.
I don't care if you're the best guy and you won the nationals.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're, you know what I mean?
So it's not just about boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a blank, whatever.
Yes.
I don't want to deal with you. You know what I mean? Because I need to be also take you to my corporate sponsors and you represent the company, right?
Right.
If you're not a nice person, then it's not.
Yeah.
It's too much time. There's too much investment.
Yeah.
There's too much.
It's more work than it's worth.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So my thing is that I need to like the guys and really almost have a handshake deal. Like I do the contracts, but really like if I shake your hand and the deal's the deal.
Yeah.
That I trust the guy. He trusts me, and that's what I look for.
No, for sure.
Number one, obviously you need to be able to fight too. But,
Yeah.
If there's two guys, and one guy's a little bit better, I'll take the guy that I like, and that's a personable guy and.
I think that's true of any industry.
Yeah,
I've
for
heard
sure.
so many people say that there's the road test trip. There's a guy an executive director that I worked with in nonprofit, Colin McCartney. Shout out to Colin.
yeah.
And he said that, he'd interview 4 people, and his kind of deciding factor would be, would I take a road trip with this person? Okay, because it wasn't just skill set. It wasn't just like, oh man, they're proficient in
resume.
Microsoft
Yeah.
and Excel and Word. Okay,
Yeah.
like it came down to, because they're going to go through some stuff. Is this person someone I can spend time with? Is open ear that we can even just have fun? Because there's so many parts of an endeavor that aren't fun. And I'll never forget that. And it worked really well for him. He built an amazing team around, and they literally loved spending time together. So if they're going to invest so much time away from family into, an initiative, it helps, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think also, in what I'm hearing from your answers, Tyler, is that you also, for someone to be able to like them, they also have to be kind of humble, I guess, as well, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they're like, if they have this ego that you're this top-notch, kick-ass machine kind of thing, they might start coming in thinking, no, this is how it's going to be done. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they have to be like, I like to say, a teachable spirit that you can work with them on those levels as well.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I really focus on is that you can have an ego. You know what I mean? Like boxing's all about characters. Like
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we still have to be able to hang out and have a conversation and see eye to eye on some things.
Yeah.
And make sure that they understand the landscape. You know what I mean? You're not Mayweather and I'm not Don King, so let's put everything in check and then talk. Talk real numbers. I also push my guys to sell tickets and promote it themselves. Like everyone wants to be Mayweather, but no one wants to do what Mayweather does. Right? Like Mayweather's been promoting himself. I've talked to guys that went to amateur shows.
Yeah, people
in
don't talk
Detroit.
about that much. Yeah.
He was promoting himself when he was like 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, like coaches would be like, "Yo, you sticking around to watch me fight? You sticking around to watch me fight? You sticking around?" Like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
Who wants to watch this 12-year-old kid? But he's always done that from day one, and people don't realize that. If you're fighting and your parents or your aunt and uncle aren't coming out to watch you, I'm not calling them up and say, "Yo, you're not going to come and watch this guy."
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to do your part.
You need to do your part and work your own network, and
that's smart.
Once you build your network, you become your own machine, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
And that speaks to the grind, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times we say this all the time. People want the end product, but they're not willing to put the work in to get it there.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And that's an example of that. You'd think that someone coming into something to self-promote, that's huge. That's huge.
I mean, you work so closely with any high level of where the stakes are high. You get friction, right? I mean, if you're gonna get a fire, you need it. What's it been like working with young folk who have an idea of what they want, and there's this drive. They put in all the time to train. They want it more than, and they try to tell you, and then sometimes their actions don't line up. And like, what's it been like just working with people through? Because you're like in the corner with them, in the ring with them, like good and bad, what the outcome could be.
Yeah, it's I actually just started like, making notes because the guy's been pushing me to write a book forever.
Yeah.
Because of all the stories I have. But so I've just started that. But there is a lot of stories of the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean? But when you're dealing with a fighter, you know, you got his coach, right? You got his manager sometimes. Sometimes he has another advisor. You know what I mean? And some of these guys are just coming up. You know what I mean? Then yeah, you got his parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's his
girl,
girlfriend's
it's
parents.
his girlfriend.
You know what I
That
mean?
summer.
You know, I've had
Okay.
some of those. Like, what's your girlfriend's dad do?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a such and such. I'm like, exactly. When's the last time he promoted a show? He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if he wants to come and sit down at the table, then bring him. Don't tell me what your girlfriend's dad said. I don't
Right.
care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unless he's cutting the checks, I don't care.
Yeah.
But everyone has an opinion, and as the fighter grows and becomes a bigger star, a bigger celebrity, whatever, gets higher ranked, he just has more people in his ear. And,
Yes.
and unless you have that relationship with him, it can create so much conflict, and it can steer the fighter away from, you know, where he should be focusing. And usually it doesn't work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once their ear is tuned, I guess, to that, to the crew,
to the nonsense, to everyone. You know what I mean? You're ranked, and now all of a sudden this guy shows up out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right.
We don't need him, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes adding somebody does help, but a lot of the times it's that they're trying to jump on for the ride. They're trying to take something from the fighter that really had nothing to do with it. You know, Brandon Cook, for example, 30 amateur fights from day one. You know what I mean? His coach, myself, and Brandon were together. We went from, you know, an amateur kid in Ajax to fighting for a world title in Vegas.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Added a cut man and strength and conditioning guys and stuff, but for the management part of it and, and the business part of it, no one got added.
Wow.
Yeah.
He just stuck true to his guy. So he's a very loyal guy, and that's what I like. You know what I mean? Like, we could have had conflicts. You know what I mean? His contract expired and re-signed and stuff. He could have easily went somewhere else. But
That's true of a lot of
to the game plan.
high-performing guys. They keep their same core.
Yeah.
Whether they're boyhood friends or that high school coach that follows them through college and in pro, like, because they know what got them there.
Yeah.
They don't forget, you know.
And there's a lot of guys that are very talented, and over the years they're switching coaches, they're switching managers, they're switching all the time, and I find that they never really get to where they're supposed to be, because I think a lot of the times is that they're not taking accountability for what they're doing. They're always blaming somebody else. It's like, no. Just stick to the plan. You do what you got to do, and if you would have beat that guy, you know, we wouldn't be here.
That takes
right?
care of itself.
Don't blame your coach. He's not in the ring. So,
You know, boxing has so much elements of winning because of the mental aspect of it, right? Do you guys have like mental coaches that kind of like get guys into them?
some guys do. You know, some guys have mental coaches. Some guys just use their own coaches. Some guys have like a strength and conditioning guy, because they spend so much time with them. It's important that they do keep them, you know, focused on what they're doing.
Right.
And also at the same time, they can also become a burden to the fighter, because they are talking about stuff that, you know, doesn't matter.
Right.
And changing their focus. Some guys are just yes man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just want to be on this ride, so whatever this fighter says, I'm saying yes to.
Yeah.
And maybe when he starts straying, if he would have had someone to say, no, let's just focus on what we got to do.
Yes.
They wouldn't have ended up where they are.
Right. You know, we were talking about this a couple of minutes ago at the green room, where you were talking about Jamaica and doing some of your boxing on there. And look, man, Jamaica, wow, what a beautiful Caribbean island, man. Tell me about that. Like, how did you guys get some exposure down there? Like, how did that happen?
My wife's from Jamaica, so she moved here. She was 6. Traveled down there a couple of times.
6 years old again.
That's it. Everybody, yeah.
The show's called Standing in the Six.
That's it.
Starting in Ja. Yeah.
So traveled down there a couple of times, and I'm like, man, this is amazing down here. I love it down there. And I just reached out to the boxing commissioner to say, you know, what's going on, what's up down here.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind doing some shows at like maybe a resort, bring some people down, do a golf weekend, that kind of thing.
Just like that.
Watch the fights, and he's like, yeah, he's actually, we got this tournament going on we could use some help with. So he put me in contact with the producer of the tournament called the Contender. It's a 16-man tournament that they host every year, sponsored by Ray and Nephew. And so we came up with the idea of doing a Jamaica versus Canada. And I took 8 guys down there the first year. It went off great.
Wow.
And then the second year, lined it up, brought down 8 more guys, and been going down there regularly. So.
And again, you're just there on vacation.
Yeah.
And this kicks in and is like, I got to do this here.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'll find out who it is. Just kept calling him and got a hold of the guy. And
No, Lennox
Look,
Lewis.
This is what palm trees and sand and beautiful water does. You know what I mean? Yeah, it inspires you.
A
couple of rum.
No, listen, it's true, man. Look, I was in Cabo San Lucas last summer, and while you're there, I mean, not the business side of things, but more of like, man, just the way they live, and can I get a little slice of that life and kind of live that? But let me go back a little bit. Lennox Lewis. Now he's also.
We need to set up operations in Jamaica. Just thinking.
Yeah.
Do
a live.
Yeah.
Next time I have a show lined up, you guys just come down there and do the podcast.
Yeah, trust me, man.
Do it from the beach.
Absolutely.
Lennox Lewis also lives down there. Have you guys ever had any connect? Because I'm not sure if he lives or not, but he does go there quite a bit.
Yeah, back and forth.
Yeah,
he's got a place in the grill, I believe it is.
Right.
Yeah. Hanover, anyways, on the.
Like, is boxing alive and well in Jamaica? Like, in the sense, because I know they have.
The tournament does well. It's live on TV. I think the population of the country is like 2.4 million.
Yeah.
And the show is on Wednesday night, and they get 1.2 million views.
Wow.
Literally half the country is watching.
Wow.
So it's equivalent to like our,
that's crazy.
an Olympic hockey game here.
Yes.
And is it? I think Mike asked, is it outdoors or is it a?
The finals are outdoors. The finals they do on like a cricket field. Bring in big,
which is massive.
Bleachers and stadiums.
Wow.
And set up a stage and stuff. They do it up. It's a big party atmosphere.
What's your largest crowd that you've had
down there?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the numbers are. To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh wow, but man, that's amazing.
Yeah, in the thousands.
Yeah.
But the weekly show is just in like
we gotta go. We definitely gotta go.
Yeah, man.
Basketball arena place.
That's so amazing.
Show on Wednesday night, but the finals is outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, it's cool down there. I love it down there. I think there's so much talent. If you even look at the guys that are Canadian, that we claim that are Canadian.
Yes.
You know what I mean? How many of them are actually Jamaican, right?
Yeah.
So Lennox Lewis, he wasn't born here.
That's right.
He learned to box here. So
right.
we do. We get credit for that.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
Ben
Jamaican
Johnson,
background.
Ben Johnson. Yeah, but Razor Ruddock.
Yeah.
Trevor Burbick, who got knocked out by Tyson.
Right.
Jamaican.
Yeah.
Glenn Johnson. There's so many guys. Well, Glenn Johnson doesn't claim to be.
Yeah.
Claim to be Canadian, but we've claimed a lot.
We claim him.
Yeah. So, just the amount of Jamaican fighters that come to Canada that we take credit for.
That fight against Jamaicans, right?
Exactly. There's just so much talent that comes out of the country.
Yeah,
it's
there's
amazing.
so many good fighters. You have to have that hunger, and this country, you can go play basketball and not get punched in the face and make millions. Why are you going to fight?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Go be a middle linebacker and make millions in the NFL.
Right.
You don't need to go downtown and fight it. You're at the gym tonight getting punched in the head.
With an entire team.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Versus solo
sport.
sport.
And if you mess up, it's kind of not really your fault, or you don't get exposed too much. But in boxing, if you mess up and get knocked out, 5,000, 10,000, a million people just watched you get knocked out.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? It's a long road.
Your hands weren't wrapped properly. You could say that.
Yeah. Your coach's fault. So. A country like Jamaica, where you still have the poverty and you still have the kids that are hungry, like you know what I mean. They light up when they see the fights. Like they really want, to do it. Between that
and I find also because of their conditions and whether living in poverty or low income, and it's because of these situations that they want to come out of. Their motivation is on a higher level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't need to motivate them.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's like it's their way out.
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So that's why I want to keep doing shows down there, and hopefully get to the point where I'm down there for 6 months, up here for 6 months.
Have you vacationed anywhere else where you're thinking, I'm in Mexico right now, I want to do this here now? You know what I mean?
I honestly, my wife gets mad. I'm like,
seems like a good.
We going to Jamaica or what? Like, there's other countries, there's other islands. Like we can go somewhere else. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, it's a good formula though. You can just go vacation and set up shop.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And also United, I mean, it's getting more and more and more exposure right now. It's amazing. It's crossing now North America.
Yeah.
You know?
We have some Mexican fighters that are signed. We have 2 fighters out of Mexico.
Right.
And looking at some guys from Jamaica to sign, and that's kind of,
Yeah.
where we're gonna stay.
You
now.
visited England also, was it with
Brandon Cook? Yeah,
yeah.
he was supposed to fight over there, and they literally, that's a whole nother story.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Brandon was supposed to fight at the O2 Arena. We got a call like 2 weeks before saying, "Yo, the guy pulled out. He's hurt." We're like, "What?" All right, fine. But we're gonna find. So then they call back like a week later, like, "Hey, we found you a replacement." So Brandon like took 3 or 4 days off. He's like, "Okay, I'm not fighting." And all of a sudden they call and like, "Okay, we found somebody else for you."
Right.
You guys never told when you canceled the fight. You didn't
Yeah.
say, "Hey, we're looking. Stay in
Yeah,
the gym."
right.
Brandon took 2 or 3 days off. So then he's
Scrambling to get back.
scrambling to get back in the gym. We were supposed to leave on Sunday morning, and I got an email Saturday morning saying that guy got hurt too. We're all packed up.
What?
You know what I mean?
So
Everything's
two fighters got hurt now.
2 fighters got hurt, and we're like, what? Like, because his coach, his cut man, all these guys need to book time off. Like, they
Right.
have regular
Oh, yeah.
jobs, right?
Yeah.
So they're booking the next week off. Next thing you know, I'm calling them on Saturday morning and say, hey, we're not leaving tomorrow.
Oh man.
Oh, that's rough.
So yeah, so we still went over. Brandon and I still went over and met with Eddie Hearn and talked about upcoming fights and stuff. But ended up getting the offer for the world title fight, and we
Right.
couldn't
Yeah.
turn it down.
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
amazing.
No matter what, where he ever ends up, he fought for a world title.
Yes.
And a lot of guys say, "Well, I fought in England, big fights," but have you fought for a world title? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where Brandon ends up. His kids and his grandkids are gonna say, "Yeah, Dad fought for a world title, or Grandpa fought for a world title," and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What would you say is the ingredient? I mean, someone's out there listening right now. They're hearing this story right now, right, and what you're doing. And what would you say is like the ingredients for you that basically can get you to what you're doing right now? What do you need? If someone's listening, what do I need to do?
To be a fighter or be a promoter?
To succeed.
To succeed.
To succeed.
To succeed, yeah.
What is the actual recipe to success? And that's the $1 million question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's looking for that. It doesn't matter what business it is.
If you're gonna write a book, you're gonna need to get this chapter.
I know. I gotta get this down.
Yeah.
And and I guess you have to figure out what is success to you first, right? Like, what is your goal? At one time, my goal was just to do a show in Belleville. Then my goal was to just do a show here in Mississauga.
Right.
I've been there, done that. Then my goal was to get a Canadian champion. And I think as long as you're hungry, you're always going to be setting a bar. You're always going to move that bar up, right? And if you're going to be content with just one goal,
right?
then I guess you could find success easier than some people. I don't know. That's a tough question, because I find that once I hit that level that I want to be at, I move it up.
So I guess you said hunger. Hunger. Hunger is a huge
and that's
intangible.
When you sit back and look at it afterwards, you're like, wow, I've done so much. Like,
Yeah.
But when you're in the moment and you're chasing something and trying to get better and trying to do bigger things, I don't know. I think when you're all done someday and you're sitting on the beach, maybe you can sit back and say, yeah, you know what, I had a successful career.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you don't realize, how far you've come until it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or when you look back.
When you look back at it,
Yeah.
right? And I
Right.
think it's the same thing for guys that are professional athletes and stuff too. Like, yeah, you made it to the NBA, but did you ever win it all? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you win the cup? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with hockey players. Guys that had great careers and they sit back and say, well, I never won the cup.
I guess it's the pursuit, though. Like, the hunger
Yeah.
is a pursuit
Yeah.
of something that you want. So,
So-
I mean, what you're kind of saying is essentially you need to have something that you're not counting your steps. Because any of us would tap out if you just count your steps. If you're literally looking for progress every step, there has to be something long term you're going
Right.
after.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
so my goal was obviously to get a guy to a world title. I got him there. So now my new goal is to win that world title. You know what I
Amazing.
mean? I kind of look at it more as my success is based on my guys. I don't really look at it as myself. Like, I think some promoters sit back and say, oh, I want to do a big show, pay-per-view, blah, 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 make millions of dollars. Not really why I got into it. I got into it to build boxing and to build the platform and give guys opportunities. Because of the relationship I have with my guys when they fight for a big fight, that's my success.
Right.
I mean, like, if I took a kid from Ajax to a world title, that's success for him, and he can sit back when he's done. Now it's like, okay, I got Josh O'Reilly ranked 14th in the world. Can I get him to a world title?
Yeah.
So my success is kind of their success.
Right, you're creating the opportunities.
Creating the opportunities for them and guiding their careers.
That's the best way. That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I get satisfaction out of that. I guess more than
just making money
my
on your
own or
own,
whatever.
building your own empire.
Yeah. I guess that's how I look at it now. But that's a good question. I got to get that chapter figured out before I get there. So
that's good though. I mean, you're touching on something that we believe is true. That you don't go after what you just want. You find out you help other people get what get to the goals or to go after the things that they want in their life.
Right.
I heard a guy once told me once. He's like, look, help enough guys win, you'll feel like a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Don't make it about yourself.
And that's what I try to do with United. Like it's everyone's involved, even though some of my guys aren't fighting on that show. They still come out and support the other guys. They're from different gyms, but they're under the same company, and they support each other and they travel. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
When Brandon Cook fought at the Bell Center in Montreal, I think we had 400 or 500 people there traveling with them.
Wow!
A lot of the guys. Yeah, it was good. We did because it got crazy that night. But that's a whole nother chapter.
Yeah.
What happened?
So Brandon Cook was undefeated. Stephen Butler was undefeated. And they were the main event at the Bell Center. And it was a very pro-Quebec versus Ontario kind of French versus
there's
England.
footage on this, right?
Yeah, it was on World Stars.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yes.
So Brandon knocks the guy out. It starts a complete riot. The guy's brother-in-law is sitting like VIP. He's got bottle service. Next thing you know, there's empty bottles of like Grey Goose being fired at the ring. They're all mad and everything.
Oh my goodness.
And it hit somebody too, didn't it?
Yeah, it hit a lady, Hit a lady ringside, So you got...
And it almost hit Brendan, didn't it?
Brandon got hit with the bucket. Yeah, in the back of the head.
I remember that. I saw this. I saw that.
I never heard of this.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy video.
And this is just because of the loss.
Because they got knocked out. Yeah. So they're just so there was just so much. They promoted it properly, but there was just so much tension.
Right.
Built up to it. You know what I mean? And because we brought so many people with us, it created even more tension. Like if it was just the three of us there, or 4 or 5 of us there, you're not going to get that kind of thing going on. But we had 500 people there, and they start the whole bad boy chant in Montreal at the Bell Center, and you can hear it. You're like,
wow.
It's like the English people are over chanting the French people in in Quebec. It got so intense. The weigh-in was intense. Everything was intense. You know what I mean? Guys are yelling and screaming, and there was just a couple of guys that were involved just had no class, and it just built and built. Made for a great event. You know what I mean? The ending was great for us. Not so good for them.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing that gives boxing a bit of a black eye.
Right.
For you got guys, some high end celebrities sitting ringside next. There's bottles being tossed over.
Right.
You know what I mean? They didn't sign up for that.
No, of course not.
So,
you want all those sparks without anyone.
Without it.
Anyone getting really burned or hurt, right? That's the hope.
You can never plan it. Look what happened with McGregor and Khabib, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I mean. Like when you build that up, it's just like you want to get it to that boiling point. You don't want to go overboard.
Right.
It's so hard to once you've pushed it and so many people are involved and you can't control everybody.
No. I mean, it could be controlled. That's when we come in. You know what I mean?
We know it. We were brought into UFC is one of our clients. So
nice.
Post that brawl with UFC, we worked with them to try to minimize that, make sure it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was a whole really cool endeavor, just to even study the tape and get an idea of what plans went awry and what we could do.
Right.
But when you're in the middle of that tension, it's real. We're not talking about just an everyday. It's talking about when the waves are crashing, and at any moment something could happen. Yeah.
So it was a crazy experience. It was pretty cool.
That's cool though
to be a part of afterwards, because it really we're massive underdogs. Massive underdogs.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
But rivalries build the sport. That's the truth. Like,
of course.
It's nice to think that we can all just be like, hey, it's all good and it's all like camaraderie and sportsmanship, but you will get people's attention when look at any sport. The rivalries of those teams or those individuals is what makes it.
Right.
It makes people, like my mom, say, oh, we should watch. You know what I mean? Like, versus doing her crossword. Like, that's the truth. Like, it draws you in. You want to know the outcome now, because there's stakes now.
Right. Good. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to inject that fire sometimes.
Yeah.
It'll take us somehow, right?
We know some guys that can maybe help.
Yeah.
Just cause us some problems on the side.
Bring some more Quebec guys down.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you got another big show coming up. When is it? May 11th.
May 11th. Yeah.
Yeah. Cronin versus Young.
Cronin versus Young is the
main one.
No, that's the cool feature. Josh O'Reilly is the main event.
Oh,
Yes,
is it?
yes.
Yeah. Josh
Okay.
O'Reilly is ranked 14th in the world.
Okay.
WBA.
Wow.
So he's my next kid coming up.
Okay, nice. Where's he from? Is he Canadian?
From Hamilton.
Hamilton, eh?
Hamilton
Okay.
kid.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice kid.
When's
you
that
know.
going to be? When's the fight?
May 11th.
May 11th.
May 11th,
At,
okay.
at the CA. Where's the CA Center?
It's the old Brampton Powerade Center.
oh,
They just
yeah.
changed
Oh, it's
it.
called
Yeah.
the CA Center. Okay,
Called the
okay,
CAA
okay.
Center
All
now.
right,
Yeah,
nice.
Okay.
everyone's contracts are up, so everything's changing. I still call
Yes.
it the CAA Center.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
ACC. sorry.
Yeah.
SBA
That's it.
now.
Is
That's
that what it is?
Yeah, Scotiabank
Yeah,
Arena.
so
SBA.
we're in Brampton now.
Okay.
May 11th, we got Josh O'Reilly defending his North American belt. We got Tim Cronin, who also from Belleville, now lives here in Toronto, defending his Canadian title against Ryan Young from Oakville.
Okay.
That's a good little East versus West.
Yeah.
Thing. Ryan Young's moving up from middleweight to light heavyweight, so we're going to see how that goes.
Nice.
And then we have another 10 other fights or 9 other fights.
Let me ask you, the shows that you produce, just kind of like for going back to your own story when you were 6, catching a glimpse, having your dad knowing where to go and like what to do next, and kind of to give you, I guess, some next steps in the shows that you produce. Imagine there's a kid from Brampton. He's 6. Okay, he's got high energy. Maybe it doesn't jive for him in class. Okay,
Yeah.
but he's got a gift. He can move. His fast twitch is next level. He just, you know what I mean? Like whatever. Okay. He's there. He sees the fight. Do you guys have anything purposefully, intently, like for him to be able to find what he could do next? Are there local gyms? Or
That's what we push them all to the amateur boxing, right? And get involved with a local.
Are they represented on the floor? Like, what do you guys do?
No, it's pretty easy now with Google and stuff to find your local gym. You know what I mean? Just search whatever city you live in or town and boxing club, and it pops up. It's pretty good that way. We have done some stuff with the Amateur Association in the past, but that was kind of the reason why I found it important to start building it. Like we've always been kind of in the background of the Montreal scene, right? The Montreal has always been the leader for Canadian boxing scene, anyways. But if you want to be a basketball player, you can turn on the TV and watch the Raptors and say, hey, I want to be like whoever, right? I can turn on the Leafs. I want to be like that guy. I want to be like that guy. Without regular boxing shows, guys that are in the gym, who do you want to be like?
Exactly.
I don't know. You know what I mean? He's never seen shows. So now guys can come to the gym and say, hey, when I grow up, I want to be like Brandon Cook. Hey, when I grow up, I want to be like Josh O'Reilly. Yeah. Right? And they have someone to look up to. They can go to a gym in Hamilton and Josh is working out. They can go to Ajax to the gym and Cook's working out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's like, oh, man, I want to be like that guy. And get that. Whereas, when I first started, that wasn't there. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, nice. Yeah. Look, I'm curious. Like, the reason why I ask this is I've worked in some circles where there was people in a boardroom that wanted things to happen, and they had these high hopes, and it's all well intentioned, but they missed some of the mark on the ground. Okay, and they forgot how they got there. I'm not saying that that's true to you, but I'm just curious. At your show, do you guys do any other type of non-conventional displays of boxing where kids can get close proximity to boxers? Maybe not the guys on the fight card.
Yeah, usually we do like a meet and greet in the lobby. So like say if Brandon's not fighting, he'll be out in the lobby signing autographs with taking pictures with the kids and kind of talk to them that way. We've done it with some of the other guys too. Josh O'Reilly when he won his title out front, signing and getting that hands-on experience sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I first started, that was a huge void, and
yeah, because you want to bridge the gap, right?
Yeah, there was no platform. If you're an amateur boxer from Ontario, you couldn't turn pro and go fight for a world title. Like it was almost impossible.
Yeah,
there was you couldn't even fight regularly here. Like a lot of the guys had to travel. They had fights in Montreal, they had to fight in the U.S. They never fought here regularly. But now that we've built that platform, we do 5-6 shows a year here in Brampton.
And what's it like? I mean, I'm curious. What's it like for kids in Brampton? So, like, totally opposite end. You're on the top. You're the guy who makes it happen. Mm-hmm. You're holding it up. Like, every single facet, every detail. What's it like for the 6-year-old kid from Brampton who is, he finds his way there? He's actually sleeping over at auntie, and older cousin from Jamaica is in town, and he says, "Hey, I know this is going on from Jamaica because it's an international scene." And he brings and he goes, "Yo, Javon, come with me." Yeah. Okay, and so what's it like for him, for this kid?
Yeah, for them, it's guys say like, oh wow, it's like Vegas. They don't realize like they've never been to a pro show. It's the big screen, it's the lights, it's the cameras. Sometimes we throw in some fireworks just to mess people up.
Yeah.
But it's the big intro. It's like the WWE. Guys are walking in, they got their music going.
Music's pumping.
The ring card girls. The guys are yelling, screaming. So if you've only been to like an amateur show, they don't really know the difference. Then when they show up, and like, wow, look at all the lights, look at all the the ring card girls, the fights. These guys are coming in. The big crew. Some guys have their own special intro and stuff,
right?
And it gets them hyped. So
choreographed with
we've had a couple of guys that have done a couple of different things. And then you got the old school.
They get
guys.
Creative.
Yeah,
we're all creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got some guys that are like the old, Mike Tyson thing. Just put a towel over my shoulders and I'm going in.
Oh yeah, so what a G! This guy.
Yeah.
Remember the towel? Just that rip,
That's
and
it.
then like
drop it over.
Doesn't need anything else.
Yeah.
So we have all the different characters and people buy into it, right?
Now that's the big scene. I'm curious. Is there anything at that show that is close where a kid can like hit a bag, can get his hands wrapped for the first time?
Yeah, no, we don't do anything like that. It's just straight pro show. That's more stuff that you would find at like an amateur show where they're trying to push guys to come to a certain gym.
Right.
If I brought just one gym in and kind of favored just that one amateur gym and said, here, come here and promote your gym, it wouldn't go over well with the rest of the gyms. I feel like I'm picking favorites, so I just try to stick to the pros. And if someone calls, they just say, where do you live? And tell them where the closest gym is.
Nice.
Yeah. Does that happen?
Yeah. Guys call and say, I want to turn pro, and it's like, how many amateur fights do you have? None. Okay, well, go get some amateur fights. This isn't underground boxing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Get the Kimbo slice on. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I asked just because of exposure, man. Exposure, you want the game exposed at the top, but it's exposing it downward as well. I know. Look, I'm a Scarborough guy. I know so many guys in the basketball scene, in the music scene, that they didn't get the exposure, and everyone was only putting stock in like the high level rungs of what D1, being in these specific camps in the States, but no one was doing anything in the streets of Toronto. Right. And then that's why basketball has changed and why basketball's on the map in Toronto, because there's a couple of key guys that said, everything that I know, I'm going to pour it into my neighborhood. I'm going to go back to Malton or Regent Park or Malvern. And that's kind of what happened. These guys just started they got exposed to high level, but in close proximity. And I think it changed everything. I told this story before. I got a buddy who, he'd be a weed smoking nothing. That's the truth. But while he was waiting for his mom in Chapters at 15 years old, he just glanced at the books that they had on display, and there was a book titled Design. Okay? He's like, okay. He takes it because the lineup was so long. He literally says his mind was so checked out. He flips through this book. It changed his life. He had no idea everything's designed. Cups, phones, everything. There's a creative mind that somehow comes up with this. And he ended up designing the Michael Jordan website.
No way.
Yeah, he was literally, as a 20-year-old,
just a Scarborough kid.
Yeah, Scarborough kid who says that he told me face to face that he would have accomplished nothing in his life. He might be even just boxing boxes at Walmart. Yeah. Okay, like for real. And
100%. That's Cooks from Scarborough too, originally.
Just a glimpse. He had a glimpse of a world that he had no idea what it was. And his difference, though, is he just said to his mom, he said, "Mom, I got to get this book." He insisted. They go home with it. And then he found out you need programs on computers. And this was like 97, 98.
Oh, wow.
So this is before internet.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. But he learned that there was programs. And it mentioned those design programs were they were a lot of money then.
Wow.
Okay, so people basically, I don't know exactly how he got them, but they bit the bullet. They invested the money. And within 3 years, he was designing like Nike kicks, putting it online when the internet just started. A company saw what he was doing and then flew him out and said, "You're a guy. You're urban. You could do corporate stuff." And he was the guy who kind of taught Nike and all these other companies how to market to the urban cat.
No way.
Yeah, I just say that. So it's just one of those things. I mean, like that divide. There's guys in these neighborhoods that they can get 1,000 people. To your fight, easily,
and that's what I push the guys to be involved. Like, don't just show up at your gym and do your workout and leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be involved with the classes and say, talk to the kids that are there and motivate them. So my guys are all pretty good at that.
That's
you know
cool.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That their egos aren't bigger than where they've come from. And Brandon would probably be in jail. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
he didn't get into boxing.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? He was
an outlet.
kicked out of I think every school in Scarborough. You know what I mean? Like he was just didn't have that place to get rid of that anger. And then when he went to the boxing club, it changed his life. And he's well aware of that. And he tells kids all the time, like, come to the gym, and that's where those are kind of the guys that are the boots on the ground. We have in the amateur clubs.
He truly appreciates where he is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And push the kids to keep training and say, hey, I was here too. I had a couple amateur fights and then I fought for a world title. You can make it. You know what I mean? And push those guys and be involved. And that's kind of what I expect of my guys. And that's kind of why it goes back to, how do I choose the guys? It's like, well, if you're just a cocky guy, I'm a pro. I walk in and we're doing my workout and I leave. It's like,
right.
You could do more.
Does your industry suffer from small thinking? I mean, does each boxing gym, are they only about their gym? Is that prevalent, or are guys are you seeing that there's a change that they understand? Because you have you have a bird's eye view. You get an idea because you touch all of them.
Yeah, the problem is sometimes a lot of guys get into boxing is not for, because they could be an engineer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're in it because they're not good at school or they they got problems for whatever reason. They have extra anger. You know what I mean? They don't do well in school, so they're not exactly the highest educated guys.
Yep.
They have a boxing career, and then then they're done, and then they kind of start coaching, or they start doing whatever, and then all of a sudden they want to be a manager or whatever.
Yep.
So you have a lot of guys that have a lot of street experience, but not necessarily business experience.
Strategy.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes these are the guys that are giving the advice to somebody's career.
Yeah.
And necessarily they didn't have a career. You know what I mean? They were never a manager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They never had a manager, or they had a manager that wasn't good.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden you're going to manage, a kid's career, and you don't really understand the landscape of it.
That's like the music scene right there. That's the whole music scene right there.
Right.
Yeah. You just
Wow.
So yeah, there's some guys that are short-sighted. They want to make as much money right now. And sometimes they're making the choices for themselves and not for the guys that they're taking care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it take to change that?
Just the bigger the scene gets, the more guys that get involved, and the more education. Now guys can sit back and say, hey, you know what? Just stick to the plan that Tyler writes out, and you could have fought for a world title.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at Cook. Cook didn't change nothing. Stay with his coach. Stay with his manager.
Yeah.
Boom, fighting for a world title. Don't change the plan. Like the
Yeah.
blueprint's there. You don't need to do anything special.
That's the outcome
You know what I mean?
that's the outcome that all of you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just stick to the plan, and you can get there. But
That's good, man.
it's hard because so many people get in their ears and change their minds, and next thing you know, it's
I know.
and they're just not educated on what they don't even know what they're talking about sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the funny part of it, I guess. That's the entertaining part. And that's kind of.
We look forward to it, though. I look forward to, the boxing scene specifically, for it to blow up, like for it to truly just. There's just something that you guys have been working the ground, and you got something come out here, little flower blossoms there, little something, and then but it gets trampled or it gets forgotten, and it's not totally taken care of. The resources aren't there. I hope that at some point, the reason why I say it, I don't even think about it from the business side. I say it personally, just from the guys, the kids that need to. There's a whole group of misfit kids.
Yeah,
I'm kind of talking personally.
Don't have skates or don't like basketball.
Yeah, they need this, man. It is a lifeline for them. It could save their life. It 100% can save their life, or it will prevent them from taking someone else's life. Because that's the reality. The reality on the street is it's still going to come out at some point, whether it's road rage or stepping on someone's white kicks or whatever. It is that fragile.
Yeah.
It is an outlet. I mean,
we're getting there. We there was a time when Quebec would do, say 50 shows a year, and Ontario was doing 4 or 5.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I think up in the last couple of years that we've caught them. We're right behind them on how many shows we do and how many pros we have. Guys fighting on the world scene. Steve Rolls just lined up to fight Triple G. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're there. Brandon Cook fought for world title. Sam
Right.
Vargas fought Amir Khan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we're there now. We're there now, and we're starting to get respect for kids that are starting here, fighting here, and coming from Toronto and not having to move.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the what my goal was when I first started out.
Amazing. I hope it does well, man. I hope that it flourishes. And look, there's always going to be bad stories that come out of it, but I hope at the whole is this beautiful garden, and
we're getting there.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
some amazing things start to happen, and I mean, boxing,
yeah.
boxing's an amazing
Yeah,
sport, man.
it is.
It's amazing. There's so much you learn from it. Like, everyone loves Rocky.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone loves Rocky. Have
It
you ever
is.
been to Philadelphia?
I have. It's incredible.
Have you
been
ra-
there?
I've been through Philadelphia.
Oh.
Have you ran the steps?
No, I've never.
I've
actually
ran the
got to run
steps. I've had the Philly
Yeah.
cheesesteak
Yeah.
right in the
You do all the things.
everything,
You
man.
do all the
I
things.
ate some raw eggs when I was doing some training.
Okay,
back in the
yeah.
day, you know what I mean? It's
Look,
like,
true
yeah,
story.
Rocky did it. Everyone else has to do it.
We had like an off day. I was there as a young buck, but I was there kind of for some work, and we're in Philadelphia. We literally stayed at the top of the stairs for 2 hours. Okay,
Just watching
and
people run up.
I'll never forget it. Like, I'll never forget it. They could even have a live feed of that staircase, and just 24/7, if you wanted to, you could put it up, because it never got dull. People watching is it's the great art.
It is.
Okay.
Everyone playing the Rocky theme on their phones, running up and down the steps.
I'm not even joking, but no one played it on their
100%,
phone.
yeah.
It's here, man.
in your head.
Yeah.
It's the power there. And I'm in it. There's this huge roundabout, massive roundabout in front of it, and it's beautiful. Just kind of the way it's all symmetry. Okay, it's planned perfectly, and a number of cars can pull up, and there's a huge generous curb that if you stop, it's not like in Paris where everyone's going crazy. I've never been there. I'm just saying.
See videos.
So literally, buses, cars, bikes, it doesn't really matter. They all stop. People run out. We saw literally, I'm not even joking, like 3 buses of 40 like Japanese students in each bus come out and literally at the top of their lungs shouting and speaking Japanese, like running up and then coming down. Next car, it's an old lady with her granddaughter.
Mhm.
They do it together. Next thing, bunch of I'm not even joking. Every single walk of life you can imagine for 2 hours. I'll never forget that. And to me, that's why that mattered to me. That's the power of a story, man. That's a story.
And boxing has a lot of those stories.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what-
It really
Right.
does.
That's what
It
makes the
is,
sport special.
yeah. Rags to riches, and then rags, and then like whatever.
Yeah.
Extreme highs, extreme lows. But there's something in it that everyone can learn from.
Absolutely.
Everyone can relate. You know what I mean? That's
Yes.
the biggest thing. Is like everyone has that. Everyone has their own issues in life, right? Everyone has their own highs and their own lows in life.
Everyone fights in their own life.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
And
Yeah.
that's,
Crazy.
Everyone
that's why-
prepares and fights, and
why you can relate, and everyone loves an underdog too, right?
I'm telling you.
absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
Look, man, I really, really want to thank you for coming down today, man. I mean, I was gonna actually I'm gonna say it anyways. I've been signed. United Promotions. I'm making my debut at 41. No,
What's your oldest fighter that you've seen kind of come into?
We did Razor Ruddock's fight when he came back.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was what?
Yeah,
Like, he would have been.
49 or 50.
Yeah.
Or something.
Wow.
He was almost
Yeah.
50 years
Wow.
old.
He called us up and said he wanted to fight, and we're like, so we went down and seen him. Like, actually, he's in shape, and sure enough, he came and he won. We're like, wow.
yeah.
So.
Some guys abs when they're 80, man. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
trust me,
Some guys
man.
they got it.
I've never seen my abs ever. So I will be getting that ready for the fight coming up in Jamaica.
Is it your debut?
Debut in Jamaica. No,
I've
honestly,
never seen my. Feel that? That's a T-shirt.
yeah, I've never seen my abs.
That's a T-shirt,
Yeah,
man. Can't
yeah.
you just see a guy wearing that?
Yeah.
Just like
Lots of guys.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
exactly.
guys,
Yeah,
and but you could wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah,
man.
I
I've
guess.
never seen my abs.
I guess.
Don't hide.
Or I could work towards
It's
it. Right?
2019,
There
man.
you go, man.
Own your.
Yeah.
Okay.
Own it up. Tyler Buxton from United Promotions. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
brother,
guys.
for coming down. We're very excited to where you're taking the sport and the ground you're trying to pave. And
Yeah.
also, I mean, I've never been to one of these fights that you have upcoming. I
Gotta come out.
definitely want to check one out, man.
Definitely have to go.
May
We
11th.
don't like fireworks, so just
Yeah.
We have a thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
May 11th. Definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, that's
at
a
the
Saturday,
CA
right?
Center.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, May 11th. You guys want to come and let me know?
That's
Okay.
Mother's Day weekend. I might bring the mothers too. You know.
Oh,
what I mean?
hey. Yeah, my mom is gangster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Likes the fights.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. And if anybody wants to do connect to you and Fight United Promotions, is there,
We're on all the social media platforms. United Promotions.
Okay.
UnitedPromotions.ca.
Perfect.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah.
You can buy tickets at Ticketmaster or just go to the box office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Amazing.
nice. And if you're listening and you want to box yourself, if you're 49, whatever, or you got a kid that wants to contact
Boxing Ontario.
Yeah.
I think it's boxingontario.ca.
Oh, perfect.
Just Google it and then you can search your local gym.
Nice.
on the index there.
Perfect.
So
Amazing.
right on, guys.
Amazing,
I think I might just do a little search. Get in there. Okay.
Amazing,
Yeah.
Tyler. Thanks,
All right,
brother.
guys. Yeah, thanks for
very
having me.
much,
I
man.
appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Take care.
Listen to this episode on iTunes and Spotify. Make sure to drop by next week. And don't forget to subscribe.
Let's go!
It's time to give a shout out to our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by Sentinel Security Plus. For all your premium security needs, visit SentinelSecurityPlus.com. And The Substance Group for all your integrated marketing solutions. Visit TheSubstanceGroup.com.